So after every Stranger Things fan ran up that hill during Season 4, Volume 1, I gotta bring it down to earth, guys, and we gotta talk about who might get killed off during Volume 2 of Season 4, because, y'all, I don't know. I have a feeling some of our main characters, they might get the axe. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? James here, and today, yes, we're talking all about my predictions for Season 4, Volume 2 of Stranger Things, which drops on Netflix this week, guys. It is Stranger Things week, and I cannot wait to talk about this season in my review, and of course, react to Episode 9 here on the channel. I'm going to be whipping up all that content for you, and yeah, we're going to do an updated tier list because it seems like you guys really enjoyed the Volume 1 character tier list. But hey, before we get into it, and I tell you who's likely, very likely, and not very likely to die in Volume 2. If this is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies and TV like this all the time. So if you do too, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel for reviews, reactions, and all the news in between, and go ahead and let me know in the comments who you think is likely, most likely, and not very likely to die in Volume 2, because guys, you might not be happy with the picks I have for very likely. Oh man. But here's how we're going to break it down for this predictions video. I'm going to talk to you guys about who I think is not very likely to get killed off in Volume 2, who is likely, and who's most likely to die in Volume 2. Now trust me, I think that we're going to get maybe 1 or 2 major deaths, so these are all like who I think would fit into these categories. That doesn't mean I think everyone that I listen most likely is going to die. It's just, well, if I had to pick at least one of that bunch, it's most likely going to happen. So, you know what, let's not start off at the top. Let's go ahead and begin with the not very likely category, and it begins with Max. Y'all already know how much I think Sadie Sink is the MVP of Season 4 no matter what happens, but guys, Max already survived Vecna. She used Kate Bush's running up that hill to get away, and I just don't see them killing her off. Of course, it would be a curveball if they do, but I don't know, guys. I think she's going to be around for much longer in this show. And next up is Robin. Yeah, I honestly cannot see this happening either. She escaped the Upside Down, and not only that, where do we think she would even have the chance to sacrifice herself for her friends? I don't think it happens. I think by the end of the season, she'll get together with her crush. I believe her crush's name is it Vicky? Don't quote me on that. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But yeah, I do think Maya Hawke is doing a great job in the show, and she's probably going to be sticking around much longer like Max is, because guys, we got a Season 5 coming. They're going to need to keep around some of our main faces here. Now listen, y'all know that I thought they kind of mishandled Joyce a little bit in Season 4 Volume 1. She didn't have the most memorable scenes, and she was much stronger, used better I should say, in Seasons 1 through 3. But Winona Ryder is set up for a very dramatic conclusion to Season 4 alongside her boo, Harbour, but I don't think that they kill off Joyce at all. They've gone through so much already. Where would be the room for that, right? And you know, piggybacking off that, I don't think Harper's gonna die either. They already tried that in Season 3, and it didn't work, although of course it fooled me, but I don't think Joyce and Harper will get killed. I believe that they're going to escape, but it's the third person in that bunch that might die, but we'll get there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next not very likely candidate to get killed off in Volume 2, and that is Jonathan. Now, I have a reason for this. So this is the one scenario that's been playing out in my head. Jonathan will survive, be there to console Nancy when someone else dies. Now, I'm not going to get into that just yet, but I will tell you that Jonathan, I think, is the likely candidate to survive here, but hey, maybe he's without 2 of the people that he cares about in a really weird roundabout way. It'll make sense when we get to the very likely candidates to die. But the last name I have on this list in this category, guys, is Mike. Now, Mike unfortunately got the short end of the stick this season, but I do think he's a popular enough character where they're going to keep him around and make him one of the leads again, of course, in Season 5. So here's the thing about Mike. I do think that him and Elle have that beautiful reunion at the end of Episode 9, and things are all hunky-dory, but yeah, I can't see them killing off Mike. That would be a gut punch for a lot of Mike fans, which I notice there are a lot of them out there. But guys, now let's transition into the likely category, where these are the characters I think have a higher percentage of getting killed off, and you might not like some of these options. So my first prediction is Nancy. I think it is likely that they kill her off, and I was even telling one of my friends Leo over at Geekly Goods that Nancy is probably going to be one of those characters that dies in a dramatic fashion. She'll do anything to save Steve and her friends. We already know her heart for people, but especially for Steve. They're setting up that love triangle, y'all, so there's a good possibility that Nancy ends up dying, and Steve is maybe the one to break the news to Jonathan that Nancy's not around. How dramatic would that be? And also, well, Nancy's still stuck in the Upside Down, so if she is, well, we know she is, but if she's stuck in there alone and no one's going to come and rescue her, well, that's not good for her. And then there's Dr. Owens, guys. Ah, man, what a good doctor he is. The one who is actually looking out for Elle. Yes, he reunited her with Dr. Brenner, who I still don't like, but Dr. Owens is someone who I think is likely to die. If the military doesn't get to him first, I think he's going to be one of those characters that says, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice my life for yours, Elle. You go out there and save the world. It's kind of playing up that way. It's drumming up to be one of those more emotional moments, maybe even in episode 8 and not in episode 9. But Dr. Owens, I could see him getting the axe in season 4, volume 2. Alrighty, guys, so we got 2 more names in this category, and I think Dimitri is likely to get killed here in season 4, volume 2. And the reason I say that is because they're building up his redemption arc, and what better way to cap off this arc than to literally lay your life down for Joyce and Hopper to get them back safely to 11 and their family back at Hawkins. How beautiful would that be? Now, would it make me sad? Probably, because I'm coming around on this character. And we all know that Dimitri is not willing to go and get captured yet again. So, boy, I can see this coming. I think the writing is on the wall. But the last name here in this list of likely candidates to get killed off in season 4, volume 2 is Will. Now that's probably shocking, right? Because why would his name even be anywhere near the likely list to die in season 4 volume 2? And it's because Will, for me, is one of those characters that seems to be very quietly operating in the background in season 4 so far. He's drawing something, I believe it's for Mike, but he is basically very in the shadows so far. And I think that because of that, in episode 9, it's likely that what they do is they end up putting Will in that savior position where he is the buffer between maybe Vecna and Mike, or Vecna and Elle, or basically Vecna and his entire family. And I think that if that happens, Will's the one to take the fall. The man's been through so much. So, well, I guess this would be his swan song. And also, Mike has been a chicken when it comes to protecting 11, so Will might have to step in. Sorry, had to slide that one in there. So now, guys, let's get right into the list of most likely characters to get killed off in Season 4, Volume 2. And it begins with a crowd favorite, you guys, Eddie. Yeah, I don't see him surviving past this season. Does this mean we'll never see him again on TV and in movies? Heck no. The dude has a bright future and his popularity has skyrocketed after Volume 1. But Eddie, to me, is one of those characters, well, that I can see definitely dying in Season 4, Volume 2. His redemption arc is already being hinted at, and when the show decides to fully redeem his character, yeah, it could be as an act of sacrifice to save his newfound friends from Vecna. But that gets me thinking, what would Eddie's song be that gets him to escape the Upside Down or Vecna's grasp? I wonder, but I do think that they're doing it, guys. They're gonna do it with Eddie, and I think it's gonna happen in episode 8, and it's gonna be heartbreaking for a lot of fans, but hey, I'd imagine this isn't the last time we see Eddie in Hollywood. And the next character is probably one that's on everyone's most likely list, and that is Vecna. Y'all, it's Stranger Things. The main antagonist is going to get killed off, and it's probably going to be at the hand of 11. But here's the thing. What if it's not just 11? What if it's the entire gang that somehow gets into the Upside Down and kills Vecna? Or if Vecna finds himself again in our world and 11 leads the charge against Vecna? But yes, I don't think Vecna survives. If Vecna survives after episode 9, I would be totally shocked and surprised, unless what they do is they kill him off in episode 8 and there's another antagonist to introduce. Okay, so next up on the list, guys, is Dr. Brenner. For real this time. because man, I thought he was dead earlier in this series. But yes, Dr. Brenner, I think, does get the boot in Volume 2. The man has done enough. He's given Elle her powers back, or helped Elle get her powers back. But Dr. Brenner's use after the season, I can't really see it. You know, he's already one of those characters that I think has exhausted his time in Stranger Things. So it was surprising to see him brought back for Volume 1, but they did so in an effective way. And I think that after Episode 8, or even at the beginning of Episode 9, Dr. Brenner is gone. And the last name on this list is going to make you all very upset, I'd imagine. But I think Steve is most likely to die in Volume 2. Not only is Joe Keery one of the MVPs, if not the MVP since Season 3 of Stranger Things, but I think Steve has a lot of layers to his character, and his relationships with each character is so genuine. I mean, Dustin, Nancy, there's so much love to go around when it comes to talking about Steve. But guys, they're setting it up for his demise, and I think he probably dies at the hands of Vecna. But you know what would be really cool? If he's the one to stop Vecna, but of course at the cost of his life. So I can see it going either way, but that's going to be a moment, if it happens, that will break fans' hearts. But then there's another possibility that I think is most likely to happen too. Steve lays his life down for Nancy, and Nancy goes back to our world, coming from, of course, the Upside Down, goes and sees Jonathan, but in the back of her mind knows Steve is the one that saved my life. Now that might make me cry. No guarantees. Actually, okay, yes, guarantee. I would be bawling. And that is all I have, you guys, for my predictions of who gets killed off in Season 4, Volume 2. So let's run through it one more time, just in case you skip to the end, and also for my own memory. So not very likely to die is definitely Max, Robin, Joyce, Hopper, Jonathan, and Mike. But the likely group of characters to die in Volume 2 is going to be Nancy, Dr. Owens, Will, and Dimitri. And then you have our most likely candidates to die, and that's Eddie, Vecna, Dr. Brenner, and the MVP, Steve. Yeah, if he dies, the internet is gonna explode. But y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. I want to know your predictions for Season 4, Volume 2, so go ahead and get loud down below in the comments, and let me know, who do you think's dying? And hey, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on the bell, and hit the thumbs up button if you love Stranger Things just like I do, because we got more content to come this week. It's Stranger Things week, guys. I am so excited for the finale for Season 4, and also very scared. Yeah, my reaction is going to be a whole emotional mess, you guys. Alrighty, again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening. But yeah, what would my song be? Yeah, Vecna, oh yeah, Vecna couldn't hold me if Big Me by the Foo Fighters plays, let me tell you.